Regina, down, please. Regina, this camera, please. Regina, please. Can I have this one? Regina, please. Wait, stay with me. Regina, please. Regina, please. Your father, and then Regina, please. And then just back to Regina, please. Regina. Thank you very much.
20 seconds left.
Regina, please. Regina, now one more. One more. Regina, down. Regina. Please. Your left, please. Please. Up, please. Regina.
10.
To your left. Right here.
Regina. 5.
Last one.
Three.
Over here, please. Thank you very much.
Guys, thank
you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Are we ready to roll?
Now you move.
Now we start. I'm going to do a short introduction and then we'll get started. You ready? Good afternoon, everyone, or good morning to some of us watching us online, some of you watching us online. We're here at the 74th Cannes Film Festival. My name is Ramin Satuda. I'm the executive editor at Variety, and I'm very excited to welcome you to the Kering Women in Motion talk. The purpose of these talks is to highlight contributions for female filmmakers and artists in the world cinema community and art community around the world. And I'm very, very excited to talk to our guest today, Regina King. Regina, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
You have a very long list of accomplishments. I'm going to just list a few of them. You won the Oscar, of course, for the Barry Jenkins film, If Beale Street Could Talk. You are the winner of 4 Emmy Awards for acting, most recently in the HBO series Watchmen. You're in Cannes with the movie Flag Day, directed by Sean Penn. You had One Night at Miami at the Venice Film Festival last year. It was your directorial debut in the movie. And of course, you're an accomplished producer. There's many other things I could list, but those are the cliff notes. Thank you so much. Just to start, I was wondering if we could talk about your journey with One Night in Miami, which premiered in the Venice Film Festival, September of 2020. Looking back, what was that experience like for you? And how do you feel you grew as an artist in making your first film?
Well, it was an interesting experience because our film debuted in the middle of a pandemic, and we were not able to do a lot of the things, all of those joyous, celebratory things you do as a production family, because you've accomplished something that was so huge. Being able to get a film from the starting blocks to the finish line is not an easy feat. And to have so many people and critics embrace the film, it was bittersweet because we couldn't receive that in person. So it was a really interesting experience because while we weren't able to see the film with the people, we definitely felt the love and support of the film from the people. And you would think, I'm one of those people that the computer, the FaceTiming and Zoom calls and all that, I did not love it before. And I thought that I would really be more emotional about not having the opportunity to be with the audience, but some way it was able to penetrate through. And you know, I still got to meet a lot of the other directors that were experiencing the same thing, so we kind of got the opportunity to be disappointed about not having that theater experience together. So all of this to say, it was very strange and still very exciting because it was my first, you know.
When did you know you wanted to be a director of a movie?
Ooh, of this particular film?
No, when did you have the vision that I want to direct films?
Yeah, oh, wow. You know, I can't really pinpoint the exact moment. I think that I was probably preparing myself all the while as an actor, because I would really be paying attention to things that really don't pertain to the actor, and I would find myself asking questions that had nothing to do with the character, but had more to do with the telling of a story, or all of the different parts that come with the production experience, asking questions of department heads. So I think it was there. I just didn't realize what that was. And it just kind of felt like there was a moment when I decided to start saying out loud that I want to be a director. I think I was scared to say it before, but I kind of felt it. And that probably happened somewhere around, maybe somewhere in 2000s. Maybe, I don't know, I can't remember, I'm terrible with dates, but before Southland, you know.
Southland was the first TV show you directed.
TV show that I directed, yes. I directed an episode of a show that I was actually on. But I had done a television film prior to that had not aired yet. And a couple videos.
Music videos.
Music videos, yeah. So it was somewhere around before the music videos. I'd done a short for IFC, and kind of felt like, yeah, I'm gonna say it out loud. I want to be a director. And just saying that, you know, that just brought it to life.
Do you remember who were some of the first people you said it to and what their responses were?
Ironically, everyone was very supportive.
Why is that ironic?
Because I think with actors that become directors, I think it's looked at as like a vanity thing, and not like that we really have the desire to tell stories beyond the space of just being an actor, because actors are part of the storytelling process, obviously. But I think because actors are always looked at as vain beings, you tend to see that you're not taken seriously, or that actors aren't taken seriously when they decide to become a director. And everyone that I said it to, Paris Barkley, who's an amazing television director, he was super supportive. Christopher Chulak and John Wells, they both, when Paris told me, if you want people to take you seriously, you know, you need to show them how serious you are. You haven't gone to school as a director, so I'm gonna give you a couple programs and workshops that you could sign up for. And when people see that you're doing that and you're able to kind of be a fly on the wall and observe on other people's productions, people will see how serious you are. And he said that based on watching a video that I directed, and he watched it without the sound. And he said, oh yeah, oh yeah, you're a director. And I was like, oh my God, Paris Barkley. But prior to that, I was on Southland. Christopher Chulak and John Wells were super supportive. Not prior to that, after that, when I went to sign up for some of those programs, I had to kind of have someone else. It's kind of like becoming a member of the academy. You have someone else kind of co-sign or endorse you.
To be part of the DGA?
To be a part of these programs. It was an ABC Directors Program. And so in a Warner Brothers one, and when applying for it, one of the things that they ask you is for a note from someone who's, you know, co-signing for you, like you're signing up for a car or a home. And John Wells and Chris Chulak, like, they were like, are you kidding me? Of course, you'd be an amazing director. So I've had a lot of support, you know, all that fear
Uh-huh.
that I had going in, it was my own fear. Yeah.
What advice would you have to a young woman who's interested in directing or a young artist who's interested in pursuing a career as a director?
Well, I would definitely start with don't let your fear, silence you, and I would say ask questions and listen to the answers. So often we ask questions and we aren't really interested in the answer.
Yeah.
We're just waiting to get to the next question.
Yeah.
But it's really important to have pointed questions and listen to the answers and never feel like there's a such thing as a dumb question. The dumb question is the one that wasn't asked, because you can end up in even more of a predicament if you don't get the proper information. So lots of questions. There's no such thing as being fully prepared. Like there's never enough time. So pick your battles wisely because you don't want to waste time arguing about something that is not the most important thing, that's not going to move the story.
Mm-hmm.
So often we get caught up in the minutia and forget about the macro. While the micro things are important, remember the big picture and choose which one of those micro things are the ones that will truly get you to the finish line.
When you were setting up One Night in Miami, did you find that it was an easy process to sell your first film, or was there challenges that you had to overcome as a first-time director?
Well, I had amazing producers as partners, and I think everyone's experience is singular. That's another thing I would say. I would say don't try to compare your experience to someone else's. It is yours. It is. The universe designed it specifically for you. It's very dangerous when you start to do that. So with my experience, I had an amazing group of producers who they already have been in the position of selling a film. And I have a really great team at ICM, the agency that I'm with. And one of the agents, that Jessica Lacey, who that's what she does. She
packages
movies
to
and
studios,
to studios, and she was just amazing throughout. So I guess this was a long answer to your question. No, I did not find myself in a space of feeling like it was difficult, because I had a great team of people who were very good at doing that.
I wanted to talk to you about, you started the Oscars this year. Producer Steven Soderbergh had you walking sort of to the stage with very Soderbergh-like music and credits. Can you talk about how that came to you and what it was like to open the Academy Awards after we were also unsure of whether or not people would be able to do the Oscars in person?
Right. Oh, that was... I literally found out about that being the case the day before the Oscars.
You didn't know you were opening the Oscars?
I did. Well, here's the thing. I knew that I was presenting, and then they said, and I knew the category that I was presenting, and then they said that my categories would be up first. So I was like, oh, well, I guess they're really changing things. And then I got another call saying, well, it's going to be a little more than just your categories starting first. We'd like for you to open the show. And I was like, wait, hold on. Open the show? I'm sorry? Open
like a
the
host,
show?
like basically like a host.
I was like, that's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
And and I talked to Steve, and we Zoomed, and he kind of laid it down. They sent a script, and we kind of worked on the script, and And I was like, wow, this is a lot to take in, 24 hours before. And he said, but you can do it. And I don't know, something about, as an actor, that's what we want. Directors that they're like great coaches, they believe in you. And Stephen, I guess, believed in me, and I felt like, all right, I can do it. So then when I got there, he sent an email with a note that said, I hope you have good shoes. And I'm like, it's the Oscars. I'm wearing a gown, and of course I don't have good shoes. Are you kidding me? But I brought the shoes to the rehearsal, and when I saw how long, we call it a country mile, when it's not an exact distance, it just keeps going and going. When I saw what it was, I was happy that I had on the most comfortable shoes possible for the moment. And they were 6-inch heels, but I'm don't want to name drop, but Stuart Weitzman makes like the best shoes. If you have to walk a country mile in 6-inch heels, you want a heel with a little platform. And so I just gave it to God and said, whew, let's go. Well, we're gonna do it, let's hit it. So I walked it once for the rehearsal and once for the show. And
So you didn't know they were gonna do the close-up on your shoes until you did the rehearsal? You didn't?
I did not know that it was going to be the country mile.
Right.
Until Stephen said, I hope you have great shoes.
Yeah.
But it just never dawned on me until I got to the rehearsal. And it was just one of those things, you look, we're here, put up or shut up, let's go. All right, you can do it. And then I got to the end and wobbled. That would have been where the cut was in Stephen's movie. You would have never seen it if it wasn't live. But it was great. It was great to be out. I think that is where a lot of the energy was. It was, like Hollywood's first date in a year and some change. And it was really important to represent the community that I love so much,
I wanted to ask you about going through that award season, because it's the first time in Oscar history that 2 women were nominated for Best Director. Chloe Zhao became the 2nd woman ever to win Best Director and the 1st woman of color. What did that feel like for you, being sort of, at the Golden Globes with them and sort of part of that group, and then seeing Chloe win at the Oscars?
It was really, really exciting for a few reasons. Not just because Chloe's an amazing director, but so often we as directors that aren't white male are telling stories that are very specific to our race or to our culture. And here was a story that Chloe told that was just a really human experience. It didn't have that we just don't that often get the opportunity to tell a story like that, and that is regarded and applauded like that. And she told the story beautifully. So I feel like it was even more powerful that it wasn't a story that was specific to the Asian community. It was a story that, like I said, it was a very human story about, loss and as Frances McDormand's character says, about being houseless, not homeless. And that's a universal theme, no matter what color, no matter what language you speak. Most of us should understand the themes in Nomadland. And so it was exciting to see that the director that told that story was not a white man. You know, it was great to see. So yeah, that's what made it even extra special for me. And there were just a lot of great firsts that were happening, and a very a ceremony that was, in my opinion, more reflective of what the world looks like as far as the stories that were being celebrated and the people that were nominated. But you know, the awards are always a tricky thing because there's so many stories that didn't get recognized that were fantastic. You know, probably every person in this audience can name 3 or 4 films that were their favorite films that aren't recognized. You know, each award season that happens, or your favorite shows, and they're not recognized. And I think again, the reason why I said it was very important for me to walk out strongly with my head high and back erect, because I love this storytelling industry and I celebrate all of it.
I saw an interview that you did with Oprah, I think it was 5 years ago, where you talked to her about you had a dream of inclusion in Hollywood. Do you think that we are closer to what you were hoping that we would accomplish, and sort of what more needs to be done? Like what would you like to see happen in the entertainment industry?
I mean, sure, if you look at the things and numbers and percentages and statistics now from 10 years ago or 5 years ago in the interview, sure, things have changed, but we still have a long way to go, especially when you look at just recently with Emmy nominations, and the percentage for women being recognized dropped from last year. So and
Women directors?
Women directors,
right.
Yeah, being nominated. So we do have a ways to go, but part of it is going to be, even though the audience doesn't want to hear it, the conversations have to continue. We have to keep shining a light on the fact that things aren't reflective of what the rest of the world looks like, and especially in Americas, where that's our export, you know, to the world. Movies,
right.
You know. So we have to continue to want to see stories told from different perspectives. You know, the way you would tell, it could be the same story, but the way you would tell it is much different than the way I would tell it, just because of our different backgrounds. The way I would tell it is much different than the way she would tell it. Even though we're both women, we have 2 totally different experiences and perspectives that are beautiful that we can bring to it. So I think we just have to keep talking about it and pushing.
What can you tell us about your next film? It's a comic book adaptation called Bitterroot. Have you started working on it? How did you come across it? Why did you choose that as your next project?
Yes, we are in the writing process now. I did not come across it, actually. It came across me. Ryan Coogler reached out and asked me, had I heard of a comic book, a graphic novel called Bitterroot? And I was like, no. And he said, that he thinks I would be an amazing director for it. And I'm sorry, Ryan Coogler, you know, says that I've got your stamp, that he's giving me his stamp of approval. Of course, I'm gonna read it. And when I realized that it was an opportunity to be able to tell a story that's more muscular, it's something that I'd been looking to do and wanting to do. That was really exciting, and to be able to have another supportive team that I'll have with Legendary and Proximities, Ryan's company. Just, you know, you want to be where you're supported. You want to be where you're celebrated, not tolerated, and that's what I feel with this team.
Did Ryan come to you because of One Night in Miami, or because of Watchmen, or because you think because of both?
You know, I don't think he had seen One Night in Miami. I'm pretty sure One Night in Miami hadn't, I don't even think I'd sold it yet. So I think it was, perhaps he had been watching things that I had done as far as in television. I think he knew how serious I am about being a director. And I think he understands just being an actor for as long as I have, what I bring to the table as a director, having been an actor for 30 plus years. So yeah, you will have to speak to Ryan about that and see what he says.
Are you going to go back and forth between directing television and prestige television and movies, or are you interested, do you prefer one to the other? And then how does acting fit into all this equation?
I definitely am going to continue to direct in television. To have the opportunity to direct a pilot and just create the tone and look for a show is, yes, something dreams are made of. It's something I really want to do more of. And have the opportunity, I think, just also with television, you just have this opportunity to tell a story even, that's like somebody either turned on their computer, because I was about to say, is that Netflix?
Someone's streaming while we're talking. For those of you watching online, we just heard someone turn on their computer.
Yeah. So. But the opportunity to tell stories in a fuller way. It's like you can, you have like, say for like a limited series, you have 13 hours or 12 hours, or, and I think that's really exciting to be able to I want to feel that experience, not from an actor's standpoint. And yes, God willing, I don't ever want to stop being an actor. Yeah, it pays more money right now too. No, just kidding. No, I'm not.
But also shouldn't that change? Because according to studies, male directors get paid more than female directors. And right now, we're at a place in the industry where female directors aren't being paid in the same way as male directors. And Patty Jenkins broke the glass ceiling when she directed Wonder Woman 2. But so you're in your case, it's still not, you don't have parity.
No, I mean, I still think that parity does not exist even as an actor. I think in every, I mean, I think we could probably step out of this industry and point to where, when it comes to compensation, parity doesn't exist as it should. Especially if you're doing the same amount of work. And with a lot of women that are doing the same amount of work, we're also mothers, so we're kind of doing more work when we get home, or when we're managing from the set, when you get that phone call that the dog got out. Not saying that you fathers don't have those calls, but I don't see them as often as I do with mothers. And so yeah, we got a long way to go with a lot of things. I hope I get the opportunity before I leave this place called Earth to see change in a more significant way. The thing that I do, you know, I try to as often as possible focus on what's right, because a lot of times we put a lot of focus on what's wrong, that we forget that illuminating what's right is a reminder of why we need to change what's wrong. So one of the things that I think is right is this, you asking these questions, and two, just the strength that I see young girls have now. I didn't have the Moxie that I see when I'm talking to 9-year-olds, and you know, you don't hear those statements that I heard so often when I was a young girl, like a girl. That statement, you did that like a girl. You know, 9-year-olds are like, what is that? Like a girl? I can do it better than you. So I love that Moxie, and I feel like I feel very proud to be part of a generation that I think kind of helped shift things so that those young girls out there have that chutzpah, or whatever they call it. You know, it's really a joy to watch.
Would you be interested in directing a Marvel movie or a big blockbuster or tentpole?
Let's see how Bitterroot goes, because Bitterroot is pretty big. So
it is? Okay.
yeah, it's pretty big. I think that's also another exciting thing about Bitterroot. It doesn't have the Marvel or DC anxiety that comes along with doing that type of story. While Bitterroot definitely is a beloved piece to those fans, and my intention is to have those Easter eggs in there that the audience that loves Bitterroot will recognize their graphic. I think that there's just a little less pressure not having that title of Marvel or DC.
Are you going to star in it, or are you only directing it?
Oh, only directing.
Okay, only, not only, but
yeah. Directing and producing. I have to tell you, I directed and acted on Southland, and it was an experience that let me know I don't really want to do that again.
Why not?
It's just too much. Mm-hmm. It's for me. I just have no desire in having to use that much. I felt like lost at times when I have to act like who's directing me. I had a really great first AD, and Derek Johansson was really good at allowing me to wear both, to switch both hats, helping me to do that. You know, also, if you're in the scene with another person, I'm acting now, so I can't, how do I tell you what you can do, or, you know.
How do you direct yourself when you're?
How do you direct yourself,
yeah.
But how do you direct your scene partner?
Right. Because you're in the moment.
Because you're in the moment,
Yeah.
or at least you should be. I don't want to do that again. Yeah, those that do it well, like Don Cheadle when he did Miles Ahead, that was amazing. I'll let them be amazing.
Can you tell us a little bit about Flag Day and working with Sean Penn as director and how that came to you?
It came to me from a really sweet email from Sean. You know, that's one of the things that's kind of great about being in this industry. Sometimes you just an email will pop up in your inbox, and you'll go, "How? Is this really Sean Penn?" You know, I don't know who is not a Sean Penn fan.
How did he get your email? So he just emails you out of the blue one day?
I think this is, we have our ways.
Right.
You know, somebody asks somebody's agent to ask another agent or something. We have our ways. And yeah, he just reached out and he said he had this script that he was very special to him, and that he was doing this piece with his daughter. And so it kind of had me there, you know, a father-daughter duo. It's pretty exciting. And, you know, would I come and play for a couple of days? So I thought, if I do this for Sean, he will owe me a favor later. 2 days, favor from Sean. Okay, I'll do it. So, Sean owes me.
We're going to take some questions from our audience at home. We're also going to take some questions from our audience here. But before we do that, the last thing I wanted to ask you was, Jerry Maguire, about 25 years ago, came out. How did that movie change your trajectory in Hollywood? And how did that change your career, being in the Cameron Crowe movie opposite Tom Cruise and Cuba Gooding Jr. and Renee Zellweger?
Wow, I think, well, first of all, Renee and I are still dear friends to this day. So we have a lifetime friendship. Cameron, huge supporter throughout One Night in Miami. And I feel like that was just the moment that Hollywood, if you will, saw me as an adult actor and no longer as kind of like a teenage actor or a young actor. And I became a mom. I was a mother while I was pregnant while I was auditioning. So it's so interesting because probably someone else outside looking in could say how that film changed my career, but becoming a mother changed my choices, changed my perspective. So Jerry Maguire is kind of like a marker in my child's life, my calendar of life as a mom. Because once you become a parent, like everything is based on some milestone or marker in your child's life. Like, oh yeah, that happened because that's when Ian lost his first tooth, or that. So that life started when Jerry Maguire was shooting.
Did you know that "Show me the money" was going to become a big catchphrase?
Oh dear, I did not, and nor did I know 25 years later, people still think that that's an original thing to say to me.
Really? They come up to you and say that?
Still, yeah. And it's actually kind of cute, sometimes, especially when it's like older people. They're like, "Show me the money." Oh, she's so cute.
They think they're the first one that came up with that. We have a few questions that we're going to ask. Or I'm going to ask you from online. The first question is, how do you choose your projects? What draws you to a script or to a project?
I actually approach it as an audience first. If it's entertaining to me, if it's something that's intriguing or entertaining to me, that's I read it purely for satisfaction as an audience member. And if it does do any of those things, intrigue me, entertains me, or is provocative, then it becomes something that I want to do as an artist.
The second question is, you've had long-standing success in the entertainment business. What is your secret to success?
I don't know that I have a secret. I think, I guess just being honest to myself.
Following what you want to follow, doing what you want to do.
Yeah, doing what I want to do. Early on, I remember going on auditions for things that didn't draw me in as an audience member. But, you know, I'm like operating because I want to get this job. I've been told that, you know, you've got to have a resume for someone else to be interested. And after so many auditions of not wanting it really, and then not getting the job and being disappointed for preparing for something that I didn't really want to do, I realized, okay, well, I'm the one that's crazy. Why are you preparing for something that you don't even want to do? That's insanity. So I stopped doing that. And so yeah, I guess just being honest with being true to myself. I think that's, what was the question?
What was your secret to success? But I think that's a very good advice for anyone in any career, not even in just entertainment. I think in any professional setting, that's